Okay, already messed up on the first cut. I forgot to mention something, and I figured this. I've only gone over like 5 books. Might as well just do a complete revamp. Okay, so first thing I want to mention is this is a redux of the comics I'll be reading for the next few weeks. Now, what's not included is the pile of comics I've already reviewed. That video I will upload. That video has already been uploaded. That video I will put in the end cards. But basically, it was that pile that had books like Big Jim by David F. Walker, the 2 Suicide Squad books, and among others. But that I've already reviewed in a video, so obviously those comics will not be shown. This is not a video that I upload. I'm recording before I upload that video, so I still have the books now. This is only being uploaded a day after the fact. A day after I recorded. Because I already have a video that was released today, and I want a video released tomorrow. So when Monday's video rolls around, that being the fact that I got 2 comics for March, hopefully it comes in on Monday. If it doesn't, I'll do another video, but it should have no problem on Monday. The thing is that one comic is coming in, says it'll come in tomorrow, the other one saying it'll come in on Monday, but they both seem they're going to come from the same place, based off of the Amazon page for the Monday book. But whatever, it'll come in when it comes in. Time will tell on that one. Let's get to this video here. Now, the other thing I want to mention is nothing. Let's get right into it. First one up is Everyday Hero Machine Boy, written by Irma Navilla and Treve Young, who I assume also both do the artwork. They did nowhere in here so far does it say whether or not Irma Navilla is a writer or Treve Young is a writer. They're co-writers. It just tells. It just brings up their 2 names. That's it. That's all. It's just credits their 2 names. That's it. That's whatever. And then what was the other thing I was going to mention? Oh, and this one you did see if you saw my, which I will put that also. I also put that video in the end cards. But if you saw my complete February 2025 graphic novel haul, you will know that I already own this book. This is a library's copy. Much like I did with Flawed, I will be reading my library's copy when I read this the first time. Now, why I do that with Flawed? Well, I got Flawed back in the day when I was really doing the should I get these books or these books, like this set and that set. I was always tied between 2 sets of books. That was the way I was purchasing books back in the day. Thankfully, that's pretty much null and void. But back then, I don't know why I'm explaining it like this. I really don't know why I'm explaining it like this. But I guess, I don't know. But anyways, it was one of those, I want to get these sets of books or that set of books, and Flawed was on one side, and I was like, it's the only Chuck Brown book the library does not have, intro loan or otherwise. So let's put it in the materials request for my local library to get. You can do that. Now. I'm at my local library. Why I say it like that, I don't know. Come on, brain. This is the second cut, not the 700th. But the materials request is for your local library to get. If no other library has it, they'll get it for you. As long as it's popular enough and a new release, like it has to be had been released within the last year, and be popular enough for other patrons to get. They're not just getting it for you. And Flawed was apparently popular enough because they got it. And by the time that it came in, I had completely forgot that I even put it in because I already bought Flawed. And I figured, you know what? Whenever I read Flawed, I'll read a library's copy. Starting with this first time, obviously. I'm not going to just have them put it back away if they just went through a lot of trouble to get it for me. That, I would have felt really bad doing that. So I decided to hell with it. We're going to read the library's copy. And that stuck true every single time I've read Flawed. Which has been a bunch of times, so pretty soon here that copy is going to be pretty worn out, my library's copy, and I will have to eventually read my copy. I still own that copy. There's no reason for me to sell my copy or to get it back to Amazon, because it is, again, it's a damn good book. I really do like Flawed. But I wanted to do about the same for Everyday Hero Machine Boy. I don't know if every time I read this series or this book I will read the library's copy. But this time I want to do that. It was the novelty. But Everyday Hero Machine Boy. And it's a local library that had it. The library I go to pick up books. So it's right then and there. It's for me. And there is something we said about, well, if you already own it and you're getting their copy, what if some other kid wants it at the same time you want it, but they couldn't get it? Yeah, that could happen, but oh well. I mean, I'm a pretty fast reader. I'll have that returned pretty soon here. I would return it. Because I'm planning on reading it today. I would return it on Monday, but I don't want to read this one book, and it's kind of. Maybe I will. I don't know. Maybe if that book doesn't come in on Monday, the other book doesn't come in on Monday, then I'll do that. But whatever, time will tell. So the first 20 and a half are all rereads. Starting with. Yeah, I didn't okay. I was like, wait, did I go with the author of Everyday Hero Machine Boy? I did. The first one up is, and I'm not going over the authors, I'm not going with the artists. It's not a comic haul. This is a different type of video called what I'll be reviewing in the next few weeks. I treat these videos differently than I do for comic hauls. Hence why I didn't see any artwork for Everyday Hero Machine Boy. First two up is Genius, both volumes 1 and 2. The series being written by both Mark Bernardin and Adam Friedman. And this is one that the library had that I liked so much that I bought myself. So I have read some before, as I obviously, because I said it just said the first 20 and a half are rereads. So why am I mentioning who the author is? Well, this is the stack of what I like to call the image authors stack. Now it's kind of confusing because, well, you say, yeah, obviously these are image authors. Both Everyday Hero Machine Boy and Genius Volumes 1 and 2 are all published by the same publisher, Image Comics. And while eagle-eyed viewers will notice that, not only, these aren't all her Image, but these are all, whether or not they're published by Image, these are all written by writers who have written stuff for Image, also of which I own. So, this next one here, I'm doing a terrible job of explaining it. This next one here, The Flash, written by Brian Buccellato and Francis Manapul. Both of these guys have done work for Image. Brian Buccellato is a writer. Francis Manapul has only done artwork for Image. I don't think he's ever written anything for Image. But Brian Buccellato has written plenty for Image. And when I got the last of what I needed from Brian Buccellato for Image, because that was the last thing he had done, to celebrate, I go on my library's catalog and I say, okay, let's see what else Brian Buccellato has written. Let's see what Brian Buccellato has written that my library has. And they have The Flash. They have a bunch more than just Flash. But the main thing seems to be The Flash. Which is good, because as I say, that means they have the whole entire run. I know they have the whole entire run, because this, like, the whole entire run will be rereads. And Flash is an every 6-month rule book. I just, again, really love that run. You gotta read every 6 months. On average. The reason why it's on average is for books like this, Avengers World. This is a thick, thick book. This collects 21 issues of Avengers World, written by many, many writers. You got Nick Spencer, you got Jonathan Hickman, you got Frank Barbiere, but that wasn't the right one. This is Frank Martin. I read that as Frank Barbiere, but that was artists. Al Ewing, who technically he has written for Image. It was a 5-page story and anthology book, so technically yes, technically no. But for the sake of this argument, let's say fine, because it's only one issue anyways. Sam Humphries, who's definitely written a lot for Image. Well, that's just 2 books. And then Frank Barbiere. Frank Barbiere, and, nope, Barbiere. I always, I can never get that right the first time around. It's so weird. Barbiere. Frank Barbiere and Nick Spencer again, but he just does it for the last two issues, and then Frank Barbiere does the last two issues. Sorry, I meant to say Nick Spencer only does up to issue 16, and Frank Barbiere does 17-21 all by himself, but with assistance for the first two issues. Those are all the names: Nick Spencer, Frank Barbiere, Sam Humphries, Al Ewing, and Jonathan Hickman. All who have written at least something for Image, Avengers World. Every 6 month rule, but again, it's a thick book, so it really is every 6 months. If it weren't for thick books like that, I would definitely be doing it like every 3 months, I'd say. Ant-Man, The Right, Volume 1. That being Second Chance Man. There are 2 Volume 1s in Nick Spencer's run on Ant-Man. 2 Volume 1s for Ant-Man, Nick Spencer. Why is that? Well, Marvel does not like following the rules. Now, in this one, to be fair, I think from what I can tell, context clues, this was originally a 5-issue miniseries, and it must have sold so well, done so well critically and financially, that he got the green light to write an ongoing for Ant-Man until the series got canceled. That's what I want to say is the case, but I don't know. We'll see when we get Everybody Loves Team Up, which is the other Volume 1. If not, it's kind of stupid. I can't imagine it was anything but that. But sometimes Marvel will just do that. They'll have a series run like Ms. Marvel. The original series runs for 10 volumes. But that's just all of G. Willow Wilson's run. Then when it goes back... No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I was wrong. So they had a reboot in between because of Secret... Because of Secret Wars, they went back all the way after Secret Wars was done. They went all the way back to number 1 for Ms. Marvel. Kind of stupid because it was still G. Willow Wilson's run, but they did go back to that. But even then, the volume was Volume 5, so even then they knew what they were doing. But sometimes they'll just be like, "Okay, this series got canceled. Let's go back to new number 1." So we can get a boost in sales. Oh, when the trade comes out, by the way, instead of doing a Volume 5, we're going to do Volume 1. Yes, I know it's the same exact creative team. It's going to be extremely confusing for new readers. But we've never been one to care. Not care. Care is the right word. Care enough to do anything about it. You know. We're already doing Union number 1. I don't get it either, and I've been collecting comics for 10 years now, over 10 years now. And that's an every 6 month rule book. Same with Mockingbird, but for not the best reason, because this is written by Chelsea Kane, and this is, again, like I said before, complete guilty pleasure. And I honestly, I don't want to say anything more than that, because the more and more I think about it, the more and more I want everybody to read this, because this is as bad as comics can get. But this is at least entertaining, you know. If we're gonna have comics like this in the same breath as Absolute Batman by Scott Snyder, as long as you make it interesting, as long as you make it investing, then I'm fine with it. And okay, interesting could still be, but I would say this is more investing than interesting. And I have to read this every 6 months, on average, because I like the series as a guilty pleasure. Chelsea Kane is good at writing those kinds of books. She's a writer of Man-Eaters, and Man-Eaters is the ultimate exercise in trying to, and if you have fun with it, you'll like it. Because it is one of those books. Like I just showed that cover of Mockingbird, that's all that Man-Eaters is. Just a bunch of that jank. But again, it's investing, like, because she is a competent writer. You know, her politics are clearly present on every single page, but it's at least interesting. You know, she's at least a good, competent writer. Her politics get in the way, but she's a good writer. And I've never wanted to be too annoyed by it. It does get egregious at points, but it doesn't get to the point of Mother of Madness by Marguerite Bennett, which I own that book too, so I should, you know what's Women's Month? I should do that on Women's Month. Review both Mother of Madness and Man Eaters in the same month. That's a good thing to do. There you go. Video scheduled for, I think it's June. Don't women say, no wait, we already had Women's Month, damn it. Is it this month? I don't know. So I feel like we already had it, but I'm also like, no we haven't. Yes, actually I know it's this month because there's a whole joke of, it comes, the day after Women's History Month is April 1st. Yes, there's a whole joke there, which is a pretty easy joke to make. It's right there in front of you, why not make it? Alright, The Wake by Scott Snyder, every 6-month rule book. Not much to say about this book other than that. It's a book I want to read every 6 months. It's that good. My first few, actually, technically it has actually been, it was a reread to redeem. And that's a good example. So The Wake is actually, is something I can mention. So The Wake is actually a good example of a reread to redeem that has actually evolved into a every 6-month rule, really liked it, gotta read it every 6-month rule kind of book. So, there is proof that can happen with me. And I think others too. Like, I think sometimes we're in the wrong mindset when we'll read a book, not for any particular reason. Maybe we just have too high expectations because of word of mouth or what, but we'll read a book not like as much as everyone else did or at all, and then we'll read it again like 6 months down the line, and then we will like a lot more second time around. And this one has evolved from a reread to redeem to a reread every 6 months. I really liked it. I need to find a better one for the first one, because the second one's good, it's reread to redeem, and the third one's really good because it's reread to refresh. Reread to refresh why I like it so much. That sounds stupid. Well, think of something. We always do. Alright, Loki the Liar, Dan Watters. Did I forget to mention the author in the book? The Wake I did not. Okay, we're just down. It's okay. Alright, so The Wake, if I didn't mention it, it's Scott Snyder. I'm pretty sure I did. Loki the Liar, Dan Watters, reread to redeem. Clobbering Time, Steve Scrosay, reread every 6 months. And this is just zany. Just completely all over the place. So I kind of, sometimes I do feel like I'll be in the same boat as, has this been too long? Has this not been long enough? But also I think it's been too long. Because I don't remember a whole lot of what happened in this book. Because that's the way this book is. This book is very much all over the place, but in a good way. Obviously, it's every 6-month rule book. So I always liked. I obviously liked it enough, but it is all over the place, zany, crazy, weird, but in a good way. Murder World by Jim Zub, and this was definitely one when I first got it, I was like, this has definitely been too not long enough. I feel like I just read this not too long ago, and I probably have. But as I was reading it, I was like, well, there was a couple of things here I kind of forgot about. But this book is, so yeah, I have read a little bit of each book, but I'm not going to say anything about it the first go around, obviously. But Murder World is every 6-month book. Jim Zub, and I always have to mention this, Ray Fox, because I always forget about it until I open the book. I'm like, oh yeah, Ray Fox, he's the co-writer on this book. But Jim Zub and Ray Fox, Murder World, which was along with Loki the Liar and Clobbering Time. All three of them were books that I put in for my library to get through the materials request. And to be fair, the X-23 book was gone at one point, so they are reading some of these. Other patrons are. And no, it wasn't gone because I bought it, because I had it in my hands and I was checking. I checked it out. No, it wasn't that. Or I had since checked it out and, obviously it's not going to be there because I just put it back in to return. Wasn't that either. Batgirl Volume 5. Unfortunately, the final volume in Gail Simone's prematurely ended run of Batgirl. From what I remember, actually, I don't think I was wrong actually when I said I thought it was a whole thing with the Twitter crazies went after her because of the transgender thing. There's a transgender character here, and Batgirl. It's Batgirl's roommate. And the Twitter crazies got mad, and I think it still is going to happen. I distinctly remember your boy Zach covering this story. And the Twitter crazies got all pissed at Gail Simone because, oh, well, Batgirl should have known. If you were a better writer, you would have known this. It was such a stupid thing. But I think she got fired for something else. Maybe it was both. I don't know. But from when I remember watching something recently, and they're talking about how she got fired for toxic behavior. Like Gail Simone, like actual toxic behavior, not what I just mentioned. Maybe it was both. Or maybe that was what they thought at first. I don't know. But point is, it was more for toxic behavior than anything else. But unfortunately, her run got prematurely canceled. But then she came back for Clean Room. But spoilers, I have the third volume of. You'll soon see that here. You'll soon see that here. And that's Vertigo, DC Comics, and DC Comics imprint. So, I mean, by then we were on Rebirth, so I guess for her to come back to the run. But it's one of those things where I was like, if only you could have come back earlier. Because I really like this run. And I've been reading this again. The first 4 volumes so far are just as good as I remember them being, if not better. Then after this we have Brennan and Fletcher's awful run, but I want to read the Hope Larson run afterwards, so I kind of have to grit my teeth and kind of just power through it. I don't want to. Because at that point, Brennan and Fletcher's is going to be, technically a reread to redeem, but more refresh. I want to get to the good stuff. I think it's going to be good, at least. I foolishly believe. No, I think so. No. But Gail Simone's run is controversial for kind of a stupid reason. People don't like that they did the whole got rid of Oracle, because before New 52, Batgirl was Oracle, that whole thing. I've mentioned that so many times, I don't want to mention it again. Let's move on. Preacher, Book 4, Garth Ennis, the ultimate reread every 6 months. Preacher is still my favorite comic of all time. There you go. It's all you need to hear. Joe the Barbarian, Grant Morrison, every 6 month rule, definitely. For the longest time, I was not able to reread this book because someone else had it checked out. Was it because of my glowing reviews? Probably not. I'd like to think that, but I doubt it. I'm not that popular. Not even in my community. Not community, but not even in my local community. That's what I meant to say. When I say community, I was thinking like the comic book community, like you guys, and then the Instagram people. But no, local community meaning obviously like local. Anyways, we've got 3 Star Wars books here. We got Darth Vader by Kieran Gillen, and we have Star Wars by Jason Aaron. Now, the first 2 are definite every 6 months rule books. They're my favorites. They were my favorite Star Wars books, and a perfect advertisement for why I really should give licensed comics a chance. I definitely do. Especially if I am interested in license itself, I will check out the comic book versions of them. Never buy them. Library doesn't have them, I'll just do away with them. But I'll always see what the library has for I did Josie and the Pussycats when I want to check out the movie, I also check out the comic. So there you go. Star Wars Shattered Empire, Greg Rucka, is an every 6-month rule book, but closer to every 6 months than these two are. It's maybe written by the unbeatable Greg Rucka, the flawless Greg Rucka, but it's what's your comic I keep forgetting about, kind of sort of. Transmetropolitan by Warren Ellis, every 6-month rule. A lot of these are every 6 months. That's the way the cookie crumbles. But this one, because there's 10 volumes in this series, much like with Preacher, it is closer to every 6 months because of how much there is. There are 6 complete collection trades of Preacher and 10 regular volumes of Transmetropolitan. And so it's been a long time to finish both Preacher and this, especially with the rate that I'm going, because so this pile is the Image Comics writers pile. Every single writer here has done work for Image to celebrate, like I said before. The next one is the miscellaneous books. That way I'm not unintentionally boycotting Tom Taylor and Philip Kennedy Johnson just because neither writer has done anything for Image. So if I want to check out Dark Knights of Steel and Philip Kennedy Johnson's Superman run, I can, because that'll be the next set of books. At this rate, I don't know if it will be that next or it'll be another Image Books one. Because I try to do every other, but at this rate, I'm like, do I want to do that or not? It depends on when I finish these. The sooner the better. But for which pile? My mustache hairs are tickling my nose. It's like I got a bunch of shit in my nose, so I keep doing the pause there. Anyways, Brian Bucalato's Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. Definitely every 6 months. So this is more like 3 months. I just checked this out not too long ago. In fact, I was almost like guess myself because I was like, you're gonna read this thing and be like, I remember this, I remember that. But so far, I proved to myself that there was a reason for reading this again. But you will get that whole big ass review when I get to it. These Savage Shores, this is by Ron V. I couldn't tell if this was a reread or not, and I still can't. And I've read two Hawkins. And I've read the first 2 chapters of this book, and I still can't tell if it's a reread or not. And it'd be a reread to redeem, though, because I've never read anything by Ron V that I've been super crazy about. But all this Image work, like, it appeals to me. One's a true crime. Obviously, I want to pick up the true crime. Black Widow, this is by Various. I have to go do this again. It's borderline a pain in the ass. Alright, Paul Cornell, Kelly Sue DeConnick. I'm only going to mention the Image writers. Jim McCann, Marjorie Liu, and Cullen Bunn. And if you want to know who the others are, I will mention them, but these are not Image writers. I didn't mention them. Joe Rierney, and then Dwayne Zareski. There's only other 2. But this is Black Widow, Widowmaker. It's a collection of Black Widow stories. Are they all good? Time will tell. This is a partial reread because I read half of this on my Kindle. They had it on Prime Reading, and I just had it forever because you can keep it so long as you don't trade for another book, obviously. And you're fine with never trading for another book. So you're fine with having 9 other books that you trade in and out, except for that one, because it's 10 total. And I wanted to try this one out because I saw that they had this on the library's interloan system, and I was like, no, what, the library has it. Let's just do the library's copy. If I want to reread it, do like I do with the other rereads, and get the library's copy, just interloan it. Yeah, it's only half of this book I got into, and then I decided to do that. Well, I took a long break, and then I was like, you know what? The only way I'm gonna finish this once and for all is having the library's copy. Because I never, unless the book is awful, I never give up on finishing a library book. And so far, so good. Alright. Now for all the rest of them, and all the rest of them are non-rereads, meaning I'm reading these guys for the first time ever. First one up is one from my personal collection, like with Genius. That's the whole reason I want to do this read, because it's Genius and Gasolina. I wanted to show these ones off because I'm doing the at least two sets of, or two different Image Comics series. One being a reread and one not being a reread. That's why it's two. I like doing that. So by the end of the year, we'll have read at least 24 different series. Now, for Gasolina, this is 3 volumes. Well, I'm counting it as a series. If a series has several volumes, that counts as one. If it's 1 volume, then awesome. More power to me. But this is 3 volume, a 3-volume series. And that is Gasolina. Written by Sean Mackiewicz, who was actually an editor turned writer for once. And for once we got that. Usually it'll be like an artist turned author, and I'll mention that. But this is now for the first time ever, editor turned author. I've not heard the best about this series, but nothing about it. No one said it was boring. Everyone said it was the plot was confusing, and I've read enough Grant Morrison to be fine with that. Clean Room Volume 3, Gail Simone. I wish it said every 6-month rule. No, we don't do that for the non-rereads. But finally finishing off this series. I say finally in the sense that I want to know where everything ends, because it's a weird comic. Very bizarre, but in such a damn good way. Cannot wait to read that series again. Dark Spaces Wildfire by Scott Snyder. One of those books that I've been dying to read, and just found out not too long ago. Oh, the library has had the whole entire time. There you go. Penguin, Volume 1, technically by Chip Zdarsky, because there's an issue 0 that just collects all the Batman backups leading to the story. But what's weird is that if, like, I'm going in order, that the trade goes in order, and it goes in order the first 7 issues, and then issue 0. Very strange. But Tom King is actually the actual writer of the entire Penguin series, except for issue 0, of course. But that one, if you want, so one thing I will mention this, because I have read part of the series so far, first 2 issues, it is a sequel to Batman Killing Time. So if you've not read that by Tom King, I would recommend reading that, and you know what, I'll just say it, so far, it is just as good. I like it just as much as I did Batman Killing Time. And I'll let you decide what I mean by that, because that doesn't exactly mean what you think it means. Unless you've watched the video where I reviewed Batman Killing Time, or saw my Instagram post where I reviewed Batman Killing Time, then obviously you know. Next one up is Rare Flavors by Ram V. That was one that I had put on hold for me, and it was showed up as active because someone had checked out at the same time that I did. This book's new, so it made sense. Anthony Ram V, who I guess more than just me, I guess there's more than just me who, you guys know what I'm trying to say. Moving on. Batman Fortnite 0 Point by Christos Gage. I think if it weren't written by Christos Gage, I would have had a lot less incentive to read this book. But I was like, Christos Gage is a damn good writer, want to read more of his stuff. And also a Batman Fortnite book I've been kind of off and on sort of curious to read. Alright. Stumptown by Greg Rucka. This is one that I had found out after the fact that this is an Oni Press. And was ironic because the other Greg Rucka book I got that wasn't Star Wars was Whiteout. And that's also by Oni Press. And the third series he's done is a series called Queen and Country. Both Whiteout and Queen and Country I've read the entire series of. So once I finish all four volumes of this series, I will have read everything that Greg Rucka has done for Oni Press if we're going by the Whiteout. Everyone by what Whiteout says that Greg Rucka has written for Oni Press. I'm sure he's maybe written more, but I don't know. But yeah, Stumptown. And last but not least, Sentient by Jeff Lemire. One that everyone had, it was just everywhere. The book was everywhere. It was on the sponsored. If you're looking at, if I was looking up something like Gasolina, this would show up in the sponsored. If I was looking up what else Nick Spencer had written for Image, this showed up in sponsored. Always, I almost want to say it was always present in the comic sales, like when they're having sales on comics, it was always there. But I can't say whether or not that was the case. But this book just was everywhere on Amazon, on a recommended, just everywhere it could be, it appeared. And then finally, I decided to check it to see they had on the intro loans. They did. I don't know why it took me so long. I guess because the longest time I wasn't really interested in picking up Jeff Lemire books, because I still don't have everything he's done for Image. But I decided because I got Family Tree, we're gonna go by recents, you know. That's usually what I go by recents, and then for the rest of them, it's usually just like volume 2 of Clean Room or whatever. And usually I will, and sometimes, like, so the whole reason why I got Clean Room, no, I did not get the rest of what I needed for Gail Simone recently. But sometimes I always be like, okay, we have some open slots. Let's brainstorm writers. Oh, Gail Simone. Let's see what else they have. Oh, Jim Zub. Let's see if they have anything else they said they didn't have or whatever. And I'll just do that. But that, as I say, is that. 36-minute video. Actually shorter than the first cut. So there was a bunch you didn't mention. I'm sure it was just a bunch of prattling on. That's fine. I'll show you my email there. But I like these. I think 30 minutes or 25 to 40 minutes. No, it's too much. 25 to 30 minutes is the perfect length for a video like this. But then I went over a bunch of books though, so that also doesn't make a lot of sense. If I'm doing a redux, it should not be. Wait, it's just 36 minutes, not 26 minutes. Sorry, so 35 to 40 minutes. Yeah, you know what? 35 to 40 minutes on should be the average length for my videos. Anything more than that, I do like. You know, I like an hour-long video, especially if I have the time to record it. That said video. Especially for comic hauls, the end of the month comic hauls. Usually there are things I'm like, oh, I forgot to mention that. I am showing the artwork. I am telling you guys how many issues it collects, if applicable. If I've read it before, and if and telling you guys how I felt about the book, if applicable. Because sometimes I have not read every single book that I'm reviewing. That I'm showing off on my comic hauls, overviewing. I should have said. I meant to say. I guess my brain was trying to tell me to say, but I said reviewing. So yeah, and then comic hauls. For comic hauls, I have not obviously read every single comic. I'm overviewing. Here you go. I said like that. I said it right the first time. You can't prove anything wrong. You can't prove anything. You can't prove anything. I don't know before I say the whole saying to regret. Need to regret. See? Can't even say that word right. Can't even say that phrase right anymore. So tongue-tied. You know what? We'll make this video 40 minutes. So that's another thing. Like when I say things wrong, when I do I like that more than just editing it out, because I think it feels more real. You know, I could edit this shit out. I could be like, when I say potato instead of potato, I could edit it out so you only hear me saying potato, but I don't think it's a bad thing, and usually I correct myself so you guys know what I actually meant to say. And I like the unedited videos more. Now if I wanted to edit in like let's say I forgot to mention The Wake, who wrote The Wake. I forgot to mention that The Wake is written by Scott Snyder. What I could do is I could edit in myself saying The Wake, written by Scott Snyder, like have that be the re-edit, so you guys never could tell the difference that was edited in after the fact in post. I could do that, and I want to do that for certain mistakes that I make or polishing up a little bit here and there. Not this video specifically, but just in general. I have tried it before. there was a video. It was actually, if you want to know what the exact video it was my complete December haul video, and I had accidentally shown the invoice, the full invoice you could see. Now, what I ended up doing at the end of the day was I had to record the whole entire video all over again because of that one mistake. Now, thankfully, I make a whole bunch of mistakes in my videos. Like this one, I made a whole bunch I made a few mistakes here and there. And coughing too. And so I always am like, you know what? I don't mind doing a nerve cut. That's fine. It wastes time, but not at the end of the day. I tried editing it out, and I had a great cut of it, but there you see a little bit at the end, like a little bit at the bottom of the screen, like right here. You can see a little bit there. And I tried to edit that out. YouTube wouldn't let me, and I decided to hell with it. This editor software is terrible, and that's the reason for why. YouTube's editing software is awful, and I feel like even if I went through Adobe, if I paid for Adobe Premiere Pro, got the re-jigger my memory, because I did used to edit. I used to have a public access show called Movie Madness, so I did edit my own content on there. So rejigger my memory to remember how to do everything, but even then, I feel like YouTube would do the same thing they did a long time ago, where I edited out audio and video, and they only edited out the video at the end of the day. Like, for the longest time, it was showing as it should, but then, for whatever reason, it glitched, and then it was just the edited audio. It was the edited video that was edited out. The video was still there. Sorry. Audio was gone, video was there. Audio was gone, video was there. So I wanted to edit out both the audio and the video. All they did at the end of the day, for the longest time, again, everything was golden, but then they just decided, out of nowhere, to just edit out the audio. That's why I don't edit. And that was 2 years ago. Actually, 3 years ago now. It was a birthday video. I was haul for 2021. 4 years ago. My God. Alright, that's it.